Let's go next to Ford from Louisiana. Ford, what's going on? Do you have power?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can.
All right, wonderful. Yeah, we evacuated to Alabama with some family, and I just got back today to my apartment in Baton Rouge, right next to LSU. So we have power.
Okay.
A lot of my buddies don't. I know one of my buddies stayed over with my roommate, so a lot of people still don't have power here.
Yeah.
I'm from the North Shore, right north of New Orleans, and that place got devastated. So like the lakefront was flooding, and most people still don't have power. So it's pretty crazy scenes over there.
Well, glad to hear you've got power. I know many people still don't, and hopefully they'll get it back soon.
Yeah. So my question has to do with, I guess, cultural divides in the U.S. I think that the largest cultural divide in the U.S. has to be between like urban and rural populations. Do you
Mm.
agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a bit, I hesitate to say that's the biggest. There is a huge cultural divide between urban and rural. The question is whether it's because of that or whether it's that more conservative people are choosing to live rurally, whereas more liberal people are choosing to, it's kind of a chicken egg thing, but I think you can find a divide there for sure.
Okay, I think I agree with that. So I feel as though people in rural areas of the country, and a lot of right wingers, probably in general, tend to base their politics on personal experience. And I think it's fine to integrate some level of your personal life experience in your politics, but I think their politics tends to be, completely based on that.
Yeah.
So the issue that arises from that is that I think people in rural communities tend to be extremely similar to one another in general. So the life experiences these people have are informed by people who are extremely similar to them. So it kind of feels like a feedback loop. Do you think
Right.
there's like a good solution to this?
The solution, I don't know, but I think you're spot on, which is we might hope that people use empiricism rather than anecdote in order to inform themselves. Given that a lot of people are going to use anecdote and personal experience, it would be better if people's personal experience was more varied. But when everybody you're around is the same as you, it's likely that your personal experience is merely going to be signal boosted. I think that there's certainly there's a lot to that. I mean, the solution would be finding a way. I don't think the solution is to dump rural people into cities and think that that's going to magically solve the problem. I think it's actually in getting people to think empirically rather than anecdotally from a young age. So it goes back to teaching critical thinking. If from sixth grade on, you were told anecdotes don't tell the story, and here's how you actually figure out what's going on, I think that that's the best possible thing we could do.
Okay, that's a good point. Do you think that giving these people like broadband infrastructure and better internet would kind of help them expose themselves to more ideas, maybe through the internet, or do you
I
think that
would
wouldn't
love to
really
say
help very
yes,
much?
except we know that for a lot of these right wingers, the internet is where they're getting radicalized. So it's hard. Like, I mean, at the big picture, I want high speed internet for everybody. That's an infrastructure thing. That's an access thing. At the same time, I know that the echo chambers online reinforce a lot of the beliefs people have rather than disabusing them. So it's not clear to me that it's some kind of panacea.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I actually didn't even consider that. That
Yeah.
all this misinformation sort of comes from like these Facebook groups
It's
and stuff.
depressing. It's
Okay,
depressing. Yeah.
yeah, it is. And, I know a lot of these people, I'm from the deep South, so I'm familiar with a lot of these people. I know they're not necessarily bad people, but just when that's what you grow up with and that's all you know, that's all you really know. It's hard to do anything about it. But
Ford, I'm curious,
yeah,
how do you lack any kind of very stigmatizing Southern accent?
I mean, I'm from the deep South. My dad doesn't really have an accent. My mom has a very large accent, but I think I've been on the internet a lot ever since I was pretty young. So a
Yeah.
lot of voices that I heard just ended up being typical American voices. So even though I know a lot of people with harsh country accents, most of my buddies don't have like these sorts of accents. It's
Interesting.
not as common as maybe it was. I'm also not from like a super rural area, so that could explain it too.
All right. Well, that's
All right.
seems like a reasonable explanation. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for taking my call, David. You have a
All right.
wonderful day.
Stay safe there, Ford from Louisiana. We are having really good luck today with calls. I really don't want to jinx it because that would just be bad. By the way, this is just a note to people on Discord. Trying to call me directly when we're taking live calls or sending me direct messages, it'll just get you blocked. It's not going to get you on the show. We have a queue and we go through the queue, and that's the only way to get on. So please, let's ease up on that. Let's go to Paul Garcia from Mexico. Paul from Mexico, you are on the air.
Es igual a la integral del diferencial de x.
Hello.
¿Qué límites? Bueno, regresamos. Si ustedes se fijan, tiempo y x son mis variables.
Hola.
Observamos que cuando el tiempo es 0, x es igual a 24.
They're watching math problems. Yeah, it said when time is 0, x is 24. They seem to be watching math videos while waiting on hold for me. That's too bad, because I would have loved to have spoken to someone from Mexico. Let's go to Christian from California next. Christian, you're on the air.
Hi, David. Can you hear me?
Yes. Are you surrounded by bees? What is that noise?
I'm sorry. I'm walking through a park and there is a leaf blower. I'm going to try and put some distance.
How are leaf blowers even legal, quite frankly? It is one of the most oppressive noises.
You know, David, your guess is good as mine.
Yeah.
My question for you today was, in this current day in like political landscape, I mean, do you think it's even possible for either party to get like a filibuster-proof majority in the Senate?
I think it would be very tough. I think that you would need to see, I mean, like, think as crazy as the Trump administration was, Democrats barely even took the Senate. I think it would be really, really tough. And part of that is because of how, when we say a state is really red or really blue, often what we mean is that it's like 60 to 40% one or the other. It's like the margin is still not that big, even sometimes 58-42. I think a filibuster proof majority would be really tough right now.
So given that, I mean, are we sort of doomed for incrementalism for, the foreseeable future? It's kind of hard to say.
Oh, God. The dog, and now with the audio's cut.
The missed time for, I guess, democracy as it functions right now.
Christian, I lost about 15 seconds there, and now there's a dog barking, so I'm going to let you go, okay? Hello? Okay, all right. It's too crazy. It's way too crazy there. Let's do this, just because people are getting all fired up from the leaf blower. Let's take a quick break, but I'm going to go right back to calls in a moment. So don't hang up if you're holding on to talk to me, and I will be right with you. Stand by. If you ever feel like you just don't have enough time to read all the books you want to read, you have to check out one of my favorite apps called Blinkist. Blinkist takes thousands of popular nonfiction books and distills each one down into an ebook or audiobook that you can get through in just 15 minutes, where you're getting all the key takeaways from the book. Just imagine how you'll be able to expand your horizons and knowledge by being able to soak up all of the important insights from 10 different books in an afternoon. Obviously, it's perfect for exposing yourself to a new book you otherwise wouldn't have time for, or you can use it to revisit a book you've already read, or use it to preview a book before you buy the full version and read it. I recently read A Brief History of Time, of course, by the great Stephen Hawking. This is a book that I have been aware of for so long, and other things got in the way, and it was fantastic to check it out on Blinkist. Blinkist has books on politics, philosophy, science. They have 27 different nonfiction categories, and a subscription is only about $8 a month, and you get the entire library. But you can try it totally free and get 25% off a subscription when you go to Blinkist.com/Pacman. I've put the link right underneath this video.